All right, we're on. Go ahead, Vera.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Vera Smith-Winfrey, Executive Director of the Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, and I welcome you to Navigating and Applying to the PPP, an update for small businesses and entrepreneurs. Today's discussion will walk you through the process of applying for the latest round of the PPP loan program. Right now, I'll share my screen with all of you. Please note that this program is being recorded and will be available for view as of Monday. We are so pleased to have all of you participating with us today. This program is hosted in conjunction with the Town of Bloomfield, the Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, as well as the Economic Recovery Team of Bloomfield. Today's presenters, we will have Senator Doug Macquarie, Senator Derek Slapp, State Representative Bobby Gibson, Tom Sabula from Westfield Bank, Todd Navin from Westfield Bank, and Stephen Vaughn from Liberty Bank. Although our two of our senators are not present with us yet, they are going to be participating and they will chime in at a later point in time. But right now, I'd like to open the floor up to our presenters. Each of them will give 2 to 3 minutes of part of the conversation, and we'll talk about the tools and tips that will be useful to all of our small businesses and our entrepreneurs as they continue this round or go through this round of the PPP. In addition, there will be an opportunity for questions and answers immediately following their presentations. So without further ado, please, State Representative Bobby Gibson, you have the floor.
Hi, good afternoon. So as far as PPP loans are concerned, the second draw of PPP loans are underway. As of January 11th, 2021, businesses can now apply for those loans. I'll make my presentation very quick because I'm sure that I'll say information that others may repeat and may actually, since they're in the industry, may have a little bit more information. But those businesses that have applied the first time were turned down. From my understanding, if you've been turned down, that's one thing. But if you haven't heard yet from being turned down, you can apply again. And I encourage you to do so. In order to do so, you can go on the Small Business Administration website, and all the information is there to apply for the loan. And again, I will step back and listen for any questions that I can answer or fill in where the other presenters may not have provided information.
Thank you so much. Please note that we are using the Q&A. So if you will, please make sure that you have any questions or have any comments that you'd like to give. Please feel free to raise your hand or submit a question in the Q&A box. You can look at the lower part of your screen and you will see the icon for Q&A. So thank you. Mr. Vaughn, would you please?
Yes, I'm Stephen Vaughn. I'm one of the commercial officers and relationship managers with Liberty Bank, and we're excited about the PPP program. We're all in as a bank, and we're focusing right now on that second draw of the PPP loans, which are available to people who have gotten either their first draw and they've utilized that and those funds expired. We've gone on and moved into the second phase. Up to this point, we have done over almost 2,000 applications, and which represents 131 million. So we're a very strong player in it. A couple of things that we've noticed that I'd like to advise some of the small businesses is take the time to reach out to your accountant to make sure that your numbers are in order, that the payroll information is correct, that you're completing the forms properly. Make sure that you get all the documentation from your, paychecks or ADP, whoever your payroll provider is, that you have all your invoices. This is key. And then depending on which bank you work with, each bank has a portal, a certain method of applying for those loans. Make sure that you pay clear attention answering every question, dotting every I, crossing every T. Very, very important. Many of the concerns that we've seen is not that the process isn't easy, it's just that someone didn't sign a form, or somebody didn't press submit, or somebody didn't finish the application properly. So it's very important, the attention to detail, having all your ducks in a row, and then reach out to your bank. Your bank will help you and work with you so that you can move through this process, because it is a good process, an easy process, and we've funded many loans so far. So that's just a little bit on my side. We've had other bankers here that can share also.
Great, thank you so much, Mr. Vaughn. I see that Senator Doug Macquarie is on as well. Senator Macquarie, welcome.
Hello, how you doing? Nice to be here.
It's good to see you as well, too. I started with Senator, I'm so sorry, I spoke prematurely, Mr. Gibson. I started with Representative Bobby Gibson, and I certainly wanted to make sure that I gave you an opportunity to say a few opening remarks.
Oh, by all means, thank you. First of all, I guess I'll introduce myself to those who don't know me. My name is Senator Douglas Macquarie. I represent Hartford, Bloomfield, and Windsor. I've been in this position for 3 years, and before that, I've been state rep for 12 years. I serve on the education committee, but I also serve on the banking committee, and I also serve on appropriations committee, energy, general law, and one more committee. I'm excited to have this conversation. It's funny, interesting, because I just had a meeting with the SBA earlier today, and we're talking about some of the things that we're trying to do. I'm trying to help them get the information about the PPP program. And I just want to let everyone know that I will be working in, can you hear me? Okay. I'm going to put a program together sometime early March. I'll be communicating with you guys over at in Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, putting a program together so that small businesses will be more aware and have the resources and opportunities to go after this PPP money, especially those who didn't get it the first time around. There are some nuanced things going on, and I would be happy to get that information out. So thanks for having me. I hope I didn't go over my 2-minute limit, even if I didn't have a 2-minute limit.
You're perfectly fine. Thank you so much. Westfield Bank, we'd like to start with you, Tom.
Certainly. Thank you very much. I appreciate the Chamber of Commerce and all the people affiliated with the state of Connecticut, and especially Bloomfield, and also West Hartford and our friends even further up north. Westfield Bank, first of all, is very excited to be part of the Connecticut community. I apologize, I don't have camera capability, so you can't see my face, but I was told I have a face ready for not being seen. So we're probably better off not seeing me. So I apologize for that. But anyway, my position at Westfield Bank, besides being very much promoting all that we do in the state of Connecticut, is also Massachusetts, which is our kind of our home base, headquarters area. I oversee the entire small business lending program at Westfield Bank, and more specifically, the PPP program that actually kicked off last year, as many of you know. And I don't want to repeat the stuff that Mr. Vaughn went over, but the things he talked about are the same exact things that we require and need and recommend, speaking with the accountants, attorneys, and your legal and accountant team before you make application. I really recommend that you visit the SBA.gov website. There's lots of good information there that talks about qualifications and how best to proceed in the application process. At our bank, we've processed last year $228 million of PPP loans during that first draw cycle. This year to date, we're at about 71 million. The program is still running strong with money available. We've processed in this round that we're in right now 70 loans so far in the state of Connecticut, over 12 million, close to $13 million in loans that we've given. We're also doing first draws as well. So if companies did not take advantage of the PPP last year, they can apply with us and get their first draw this round, even if they hadn't gotten one in the previous draw, and be a first draw customer. We our platform is open to both customers as well as non-customers. So we're anxious to meet, especially in the Connecticut market, as we are ourselves relatively new to that market. We're very excited to offer this to any applicant that might have an interest in proceeding with the PPP loan. Our application process, I don't think could be any easier. Very streamlined. It's automated. You can get our application right on our website. It's completely borrower-led, which simply means, as Mr. Vaughn talked about a few minutes ago, that you're having all your information in order. Once you have it, you're pushing a button and uploading it right into our site. We will immediately evaluate it and make sure that all the docs are in order and move it right along the process. And literally it gets to distribution as far as disbursement goes with the funds. If everything is in order, it can happen really, really quick. Within a week time period, you'd be getting your disbursement, providing all of the information application wise, as well as documentation wise that's required is there. So I do encourage you to check with either the SBA website or as well your accountant to be sure that you have everything in order. But once you do and you fill out the basic information that's required, and the application form that we have in our automated system is streamlined, because sometimes when you look at the SBA docs, you get kind of overwhelmed maybe a little bit. If you got onto our website, you'll see just the basic information, name, EIN number, business name, and really address, and really there's not a whole lot that you have to really worry about as far as knowledge is concerned to apply through our bank. So we tried to make it very user-friendly, very easy, and attractive for all of our customers. And obviously anyone interested in maybe becoming a customer, this might be a first step to seeing how our process works. And we're real proud about how we can move things through. And at the end of the day, it's all about getting the small businesses the funds that they need during the pandemic. And we're excited to be able to do that fast and efficiently. And if you get bogged in the process at any point, I am available and I speak with customers all the time. We're a community bank. You're not going to speak with a 800 number. You're going to talk directly to one of my staff. And if for some reason they're busy and you need to talk to me, you're going to get right to me. And we're going to make sure that any slowdown in the process, that we can hopefully overcome it and get the funding to you. So without going and boring anybody any much longer, I certainly take questions later on. That's kind of where Westfield Bank is at. And again, we're just thank everyone at the Chamber of Commerce for allowing us to be part of this, because we really want to let everybody know that we're anxious to do business, not only on the PPP side, small business as well, which I kind of head up. Todd Navin's with us as well, and Todd oversees our commercial area as well as our middle market lending. So, and he may want to jump in with a few things to say as well. But Todd, I hope that I cover everything that I should have from the bank's part. If not, let me know if there's anything else I should throw in.
No, that's good, Tom.
So Todd, I was about to, turn the mic over to you and ask if there's anything that you wanted to add.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, my name's Todd Navin. I've been in the Connecticut banking marketplace for my whole career. And we're physically based right in West Hartford. We just opened up a brand new branch and business banking center right on Farmington Avenue in West Hartford Center. Tom was great to lead off. He was really critical in pulling together the whole PPP set up at Westfield back last year in the first round, and has continued to be critical in keeping that effort going. So Tom is definitely the subject matter expert as far as the PPP is concerned. As Tom noted, I'm a commercial lender team leader for the Connecticut commercial efforts. And so we do, we're the face for the small business lending and in Connecticut, and then over $500,000 up above and beyond that. But like Tom said, we're taking applications in both Hartford County and Talon County for new PPP loans for people that haven't been customer of ours. And if anybody does have a question, to how to get the process started, they can reach out to one of our 4 branches in the state, which is in Granby and Enfield and West Hartford, and in Bloomfield, our new branch in Bloomfield, right in Capaco. You can reach out to anybody there and they'll know what to do. They'll take the information that they need in order. If you just tell them that you're looking for a PPP loan, they'll take the information that they need. They'll forward it on to Tom's group. Tom will get it set up, and then the applicant can access our portal and get the process going. And I will just echo what Steve said and Tom said. I think probably the biggest takeaway is to talk with your accountant, talk with your lawyers, and make sure you have all the supporting documentation to facilitate the application. It's really critical, and it will make it smoother. And lean on them. That's what they're there for. And then the process will, I think, run a lot better if you really kind of reach out to them. But similar to what Tom said, if anybody has any questions, they can reach out and we'll help as best we can. So, and we're very happy to, be a part of this. Thanks for this opportunity with the Chamber, and I'll turn it back to you. And any questions that come through that we can answer, we'll be, happy to do so.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. As a Chamber executive, and some of the things or the questions and comments that we hear from small businesses in the area, there's a lot of anxiety, a lot of intimidation, because the process sometimes seems so daunting. So for example, that may be one of the reasons why a small business may hesitate or decide not to apply. Can you talk a little bit about that and what makes the process different this time? And any of you can answer this question.
Yeah, I can go if you don't mind. I think what's important for each small business owner is to know the state of your affairs, to know what's going on in your business. So important. The forms, the process is easy to do. It's just a lot of times right now with what's going on with the pandemic, most small business owners are wearing multiple hats. So therefore, it prohibits them from the attention to detail because they're doing so much more with so much less. They don't have the same staffing, they don't have the same opportunities, and so that can put a burden upon the small business owner. But just working with your bank, like Todd said, like Tom said, we're a community bank, or the largest community bank in Connecticut. We've got over 60 branches. We're available to sit down and talk about what you want to do, why you want to do it, and how are you going to get there. And I always say, when you work with your banker, your CPA, your attorney, it's like you're the quarterback, but we're the backfield that gets you down the field. We're going to assist you in making sure that you have everything in order. So it's reaching out to your bank, reach out to your CPA and talk, and then just fill out the forms. I think that's one of the concerns that I've seen, and I've worked with a lot of customers who have made applications and they're waiting for approvals or they have questions. A lot of times I'm finding that they didn't fill the form out completely. They put see attached. They didn't complete a box. And when you're dealing with the SBA, you have to make sure that every question is answered. If there's nothing to put there, at least address, put NA, at least address that you have seen that box, that question, and you've addressed it. Those are some of the little things that impede the process from going forward. And then again, just making sure that you supply all the right documentation, your payroll information, your 940s, your 941s. You make sure that you do your calculations properly, 2.5 times your payroll, or 3.5 times if you're in the food service or accommodation business. But making sure that you really make sure that all your numbers are in line that you have the supporting documentation. When you do that, it makes it so much easier. And then don't be afraid to reach out to your banker. Your banker is your friend. Your banker is there to help you, to assist you. And I see some people smiling. We really are your friends. We want to be your friends. We want to work with you. And you're a part of our family, and we're a part of your family. And one part of the family does well, the whole family does well. So use your banker, talk to us. And it's a confusing time right now. It's a busy time right now. But the more you talk to the people that you need to, the easier the process is going to be. So we at Liberty Bank are there. We're available. We're out in the market. We're in Northern Mass. We're in all of Connecticut. We're in New York. We're in Rhode Island. We're growing and so we're available. We've got a small business banking department that can assist you for those smaller requests, and then I'm in the commercial department, middle market department. So we can handle any type of business wherever you are, whatever your stage is. Just reach out to us. And like Todd said, and like Tom said, we want to work with you.
Can I hop in here for a minute, Vera?
Sure.
Just because I want to put my other hat on. I work with Goldman in New York and I work with the town, working with the small businesses, but I have another hat that I wear, and that is that I've been a small business owner with my husband for 35 years. And I will tell you, when the first round of PPP came out, there was a lot of uncertainties for businesses, especially not knowing when you were going to open back up, and there was a time frame on that. So his business, he held off on applying for the first round of PPP. He did the second round of PPP, and I will tell you, it was amazing how easy it was to go through the process this time. And it was quick, like you said, within a week, he had his funding done. And it was a matter of filling out the application, initialing 25, 30 times on the application. But it was funded back and forth. You knew what was going on through emails, and SBA approval funded within a week. So it really is easy for businesses. And I know someone that just went through the second round PPP. It was a little bit longer for them to get their approval, but it was done very easy. So any small businesses out there right now, I would recommend that they do it. Yeah.
Great, thank you, Denise. Senator Macquarie, can you please tell us when is the deadline?
So the program ends March 31st of this year, from my understanding, and there might be a re-up after that. But actually, the PPP program ends on March 31st. So all the small businesses have to get their applications in, all their information by March 31st. And there's also, I don't know what the bankers spoke about, there are some specific special programs for communities that have been hit that extra hard by this COVID-19. And one of the programs they have is called an Untitled program, and it's targeted program. There's $10,000 that a small business can receive. And therefore, that's why, because of these things, and again, I have this information from SBA because I met with them earlier today. I'm gonna do a town hall early March to get this information out. What I'm finding a lot is small businesses who do not have a banking relationship with our commercial banks. They're still having a difficult time accessing these PPE dollars. And what they don't know, there are some resources out there for them. You have the women's business development centers that are helping individuals get their PPE applications in. You have SCORE, you have SAMA, you have BDA. So I'm finding that even though this information been out here, and this is almost a year, the second time around, there's still a lot of small businesses that are not aware of the opportunity that presents itself. So I'm going to be working with them to get that information out to these smaller businesses who are not familiar, who have heard about it, but kind of was resistant because they probably didn't get it the first time around. Because let's be honest, the first time around, really small, quote unquote, small business got the short end of the stick. But from my understanding, this time around, things have changed a little bit, and the process is a lot easier, and especially for those businesses who are do not have relationships with commercial banks.
So can I jump in for a quick second? I'm sorry that I was late. I was jumping off another Zoom to get on top of this Zoom. So thank you for everyone for being here. So I'm going to ask to our state representative or our state senator. You just brought up a good point. There's a lot of services out there that one, our small businesses don't know about, and two, how can they, one, get the information for the services, and two, the banks, the relationship that they don't have. How can we help to bridge that gap? Or is there anything that we can do? And I'm directing that to both our state senator and then to our state rep.
Okay, I'm sorry. Ooh, what happened? I
You're
lost
on
my.
mute.
I'm on mute.
You're okay
Oh,
now.
okay. I don't see myself. Huh.
Uh,
I'm saying.
I think your camera flipped or something.
I
Yeah,
think
you
that's
flipped
what
it.
has my camera flipped. I was about to say, what is wrong? I'll figure it out later. Let me just take it off. So anyway, I was saying, right before you got on that, sometime early March, I'm gonna have a town hall group conversation, and getting the information out to our small businesses, especially those small businesses, like I said, that do not have a banking relationship. The ones that have a banking relationship, the banks are already reaching out to them. They're fine. But like I said, many of our small businesses do not have this banking relationship. So I'm going to get that information out to the community and have a town hall conversation, because like I said, there are organizations like BBA, SAMA, SCORE, the Women's Business Center, even the University of Hartford have a program that are helping small businesses go through the process this time around. Is like the bankers been saying, is much easier, but what I'm finding a great deal is just the lack of information to many small businesses who do not know about this opportunity, or who have heard about the opportunity, wasn't successful the first time and just given up on it, or heard about the opportunity but joined, small business. Like I said, a lot of small business operators are wearing 2 and 3 different hats, and they're just too busy. They know they need the resources, but they're just too busy to go after the application. So these organizations will be at that town hall conversation, and they'll be able to get the information out to the public.
So, Madam Mayor, that was a good question. And especially in these times of COVID, communication is very difficult. Everyone doesn't have access to computers and technology at the right time. So it's going to take a partnership. I think all of us. Senator Macquarie's idea of having a teletown hall is a fantastic idea. I send out actually daily e-blasts to all of my constituents, and I have a pretty strong social media presence. So I think through technology, as far as sending out e-blasts, making sure that we share the information, share a common message, and using social media, I think that's what we're going to have to do, because I'm not sure who it was. Maybe it was Stephen, but it can be kind of daunting for some businesses. Applying for a loan, no one wants to get in debt in these times of uncertainty. No one wants to take out a loan. No one wants to go through those things. So I think if we get the message out that the help is there, and things are different than it was before the first draw, I think it's something that we can do together. And thank you for actually having this, Vera, because I think this is, and Madam Mayor, because this is a good first step.
So I know that some of the people that would have liked to have been on here are restaurant owners, right? And they're so focused on trying to get their selves together for whatever business they have coming on later on, that they're not going to be able to get it. And I know that I did hear you, Senator, when you first said it, but I wanted it to be repeated again, because some of the people that's going to need to have the information probably won't be able to join your town hall. But at least we have this information. It's being recorded. And I know that Denise can also put together a list of places that can provide assistance. I know that Jose has worked with the people at the University of Hartford before for some of our small businesses here in Bloomfield. So maybe we need to do something a little bit different with that as well. Probably have them come to a certain location where they can have business hours, or pass out their phone numbers to our business owners so that they can call them and inquire and find out what they need to be able to apply for these PPPs. I know Senator Macquarie said that the program ends on March 31st. My fear is that people will get the information. One, they'll probably sit on it because they don't have time to do it, and then that time will pass. So that was the reason why I asked you to reiterate the organizations that are out there ready to help. And once again, to Jose and Denise, we probably need to be a little bit more strategic with the organization at the University of Hartford, whether they come into the Human Services building or something, to be able to provide support so that we don't lose this round of PPE for our small and minority businesses. Thank you.
Vera, you're muted.
Thank you, Mayor. I really appreciate your being here today. And so I'll leave you to, I wanted you to do the welcome, but if at the end, if you don't mind bringing closing remarks, I'd appreciate that as well too. So thank you. I'd like to open the, who might have a specific question for any of our representatives.
Jose has his hand raised.
Okay, thank you.
Just to let everyone know, we have attendees. The way the webinar was set up, they're usually muted till we allow them to talk. I've just turned everybody's permission to talk on. And if they want to there's a raise your hand feature that you can use if you have a specific question. So I just want to let the attendees know that. And it looks right away, we have something from Camille Fisher, so.
Okay, and you certainly, again, can put your question in the Q&A.
Yeah.
So it looks like we have a question from Camille.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. How are you? Hope everyone is doing well and staying safe. I actually was successful in getting through the PPP, the first round. I actually own a home care agency, and because right now, one of the restrictions for the second round is because you have to have experience a 25% decrease in revenue. It's a little tough for me and a few other people that I spoke with, because of what we do, we're on the front line. We have had to pay numerous employees who we've asked to stay out because they have the corona or been in contact with someone with the corona. We have to also have been purchased a ton of PPE to give these individuals. I know the town was giving it out, but I unfortunately was not on the list until the last distribution. I got some PPE, but all the other times I was just buying them. So I can sustain my business with whatever money we come in from our clients and everything. What I am afraid of is if I'm not able to get this part, the second part, and having to now continue to pay individuals who are not working, plus the individuals who are working, I don't know how long that's going to go on for. And for me, that's a little bit of a stress. And I don't know if anybody else is that's on the line is experiencing a similar situation, or can anyone talk to it, or, just some advice. Like I said, being able to, I can sustain with what we bring in and, our revolving revenue and all of that. It's just that if I have to continue paying those that are not working, it's a stressor.
Would anyone like to answer that question?
I would just say that I would say, and I'll if you reach out to me, I'll get the information. I think you should have a comment, because you're absolutely right. You have to show that you have a drop in revenue or your profits by 25% in order to do the security loan, which in your case, you're not doing that, but you're worried about the future. I would reach out to the Small Business Administration, and they're going to be on when I have this teletown hall conversation, because there are some programs specifically targeted for situations like that. Like I said about the Ideal program. So I would suggest if you want to reach out beforehand, reach out to SBA They have a Hartford office. I think they're on Trumbull Street. Catherine Marks is the young lady that runs it. Or you can just wait till I have my teleconference. But if I was you, I'll reach out to them early and see what other programs or what other opportunities out there. Because it's not just PPP money or resources you can go after, but they also have other programs that's federally funded that are grants that you can go after also.
You know, something else I want to mention, there was a grant program not too long ago that was giving out $5,000 grants to businesses, specifically minority and women-owned businesses. A lot of people hadn't heard back from those, and it was because people hadn't filled out the applications properly. So, but you can call and check up on that to see if you were awarded that grant. Also, they did extend the EIDL loan program through SBA through the end of 2021 now.
Okay, thank you very much for that information.
And before we end the program today, we will share a list of the resources that are available to all businesses. As we continue the conversation, please know that we will have that, and the presentation will make sure that it's available on our website as well as the Town of Bloomfield website. More questions, please. It looks like Michelle, do you have a question?
I do. My question is either for Stephen Vaughn or Denise Robideau, being that both of you have certainly seemed to paid a lot of attention to the user friendliness of this process. And I know that goes a long way toward helping people address fears and intimidation about paperwork. So what I would like to ask you, just on their behalf, is how many pages of information are required in the application, number one, and number two, is the process all online to make the process simpler?
I'll go first, Denise. I can't speak for every bank, but for most banks have created an application process through their own website, and it will be a dedicated portal where you will go in, register, and the forms will come up. So you'll have an application form. Ours happens to be like 5 pages where you put in information, you hit next, put in more information, hit next, and it just walks you through. It's a one-write system. So as you're logging in and entering data, it is then completing the 3 forms, usually it's 3 forms, that you're going to end up having to sign. So once you complete those forms, complete the data, the forms will then come up. They'll ask you to sign those forms. You can electronically sign them and then press submit. And depending on whichever bank you're dealing with, the loan will go through and it will ask for you to upload supplementary documentation, like invoices of your rent or your mortgage that you want to include in that calculation that supports the calculation that you've given. Your 940 forms, your 941 forms, which 941 forms are your quarterly payroll calculations and data. So you'll support that. If you don't have that information, many of the payroll services will give you a report for a certain period of time that you and banks will utilize that information. So once you upload that information to the system, then you will submit it. You should get something from the system that says your application is complete, it has been submitted, and you'll receive a confirmation. Then it's always good to go back into the portal periodically just to see if you've received any updates, if you've received any email notices, or if there was something missing. Usually within those portals of the respective banks, you'll receive that information, and that way you can complete it. And then if worse comes to worse, I definitely encourage you to call your branch, call your commercial banker. If you don't have a designated commercial banker, call the branch manager. Most banks have trained their branches to assist all PPP customers, and they can research where your application is, what the process, and really the process is the bank reviews the documentation, affirms the documentation, submits it to SBA, SBA then approves it, and like Tom said, then the loans are funded. So that's usually the process. Denise, I'll let you add.
It was extremely easy. We went through a different bank. And the application itself was 4 pages. The first page was filling out, financial information, and you did the calculations for the 2.5 times your payroll. The second page was just answering and initialing a lot of questions about your business. And then we had to give them our 941s for 2019 because obviously it hadn't, we hadn't finalized all of 2020. And like I said, step-by-step process, emails, extremely easy. So.
Well, thank you so much, only because it doesn't sound like the process is either exotic or scarier than anything that businesses are doing already in some other venues or opportunities. So I'm sure that those explanations will be appreciated by those who are thinking about making application, and I certainly hope they will. Thank you both.
Thank you, Michelle. I have a question here, and it is regarding the PPP loan forgiveness. How and when can I apply for loan forgiveness?
Okay, I'll answer again. On the first draw loans that are made eligible to the borrowers, you can apply for forgiveness anywhere between the 8th week or the 24th week following your loan disbursement. So once you've received the funds, 8 weeks, and then they extended it during the process to give people more time to complete the information that's necessary. And each bank, again, has a process of completing an application for forgiveness and presenting that information. Usually they're looking for employee compensation levels, that they've been maintained. They're looking that the loan proceeds were spent on payroll costs and eligible expenses. And usually at least 60% of those proceeds were spent on payroll. Those usually are the buzzwords or the banks will look at. And then it's very easy. The loan will be forgiven, and you'll get a letter from the bank or an email or something saying that your PPP loan was forgiven.
Thank you.
This is Tom from Westfield Bank. I'll just add on to what Steve said. Most banks as well have an automated system, and we at Westfield Bank have the same automated system, and the ease that we've been talking about on the front end applying also exists on the back end for forgiveness. One common comment that I get from a lot of customers is, well, we just thought it was automatically going away. In other words, we just assumed that the loan was, we did all the front end piece and got it all approved and got the disbursement, but we just thought it would go away. And while it does through the forgiveness process, I guess I want to just say that you still need to do a process. You have to go through the forgiveness process, which is an application. It is less pages than what both Steve and I had talked about, which it's 4 to 5 pages at most banks on the approval process. But on the forgiveness process, it's a little bit less, and you do have to upload a couple of documents as well. But you do have to go through the process. So be sure that you contact your bank. If it was our bank, once again, we're very automated. You literally put in a few pieces of information, upload it, and then the forgiveness process happens as it goes through to the SBA. The SBA does take, and this is something that borrowers get a little confused. I think the bank is slowing it down, but the SBA does review the forgiveness applications, and their commitment has been 90 days from the time that the bank submits it to them for them to render the final decision. And as Steve said, you'd get a correspondence from the bank letting you know, or an SBA actually letting you know that it was forgiven, or if a part wasn't forgiven, the explanation will be there. So I do want to just encourage people to not forget that there is a forgiveness process, and you have to go through whatever bank you went through and follow the steps that they've offered. And again, most of us are all automated, and the system goes pretty quickly. The SBA, I've seen them running I don't know about Steve, but about 90 days right now on our end for answers back. And I know everybody gets anxious. Why haven't I heard back yet? Well, there's a tremendous backlog nationwide to get these loans looked at and forgiven. And some do just tend to, the smaller ones, I think I see them going through more quickly than the larger loans. There is cutoffs that the government through SBA is looking at more specifically on the docs that you've provided. And I think really the $1 million to $2 million range is where they tend to take a little bit more time in their review process on the forgiveness side. But I would definitely encourage you to follow up every small business owner just to be sure that you've completed the process, which at the end of it is the forgiveness process. So I hope that kind of clarifies a little bit more, because I don't know about you, Steve, but we receive a lot. Oh, I just thought it went away. And well, it kind of does, but you do have to go through the process.
Yeah, and just to piggyback behind Tom, and I'm glad he said that, because if you do not request forgiveness after 10 months of that last day covered, then it cannot be deferred. It won't be deferred, and you'll have to start making payments. So you do want to make sure that you do apply for that forgiveness. And what's nice, what the SBA has done is if your loan was under 150,000, it's more of a fast track program than if it was above 150,000. So you definitely, like Tom said, you definitely want to do the application. It's much easier, like Tom said. And, we're seeing many people. I've not had one person come to me and say that it wasn't forgiven.
Thank you. This next question is for Representative Gibson and Senator Macquarie. Last time, I'm paraphrasing, last time the monies ran out, and Senator Macquarie, you talked about you just recently had a meeting with SBA. So should businesses be concerned that the money will run out?
Well, I will always be concerned about money running out, but I would say that get your application in early. Yes, the deadline is March 31st. I was told that so far in the state of Connecticut, there has been a request from all small businesses of over $1.7 billion from Connecticut alone. I think this program is about, I think the federal government is putting out nationwide, I think it's something in the neighborhood of $500 billion, but Connecticut has already put in for, at least from our small businesses, $1.7 billion for the second time around. Last year, I think we did about $1.5 billion worth of business in Connecticut. So my question would be, my concern or my response would be, get your application in early. So you won't be the last one. I don't think the dollars are going to run out, but you never know. You never know, because all the money is coming from Washington.
I would have to repeat what Senator Macquarie said. The sooner you get your money in, the sooner you can help yourself, right? And who knows? I mean, the money could stay there, the money could run out. There is federal money coming in the form of COVID relief funds. Us as legislators, we're going to have to try to put our heads together to see how we can best use that. And there's going to be money coming to towns, and towns are going to be able to have access to funds to be able to help small businesses as well. But that's down the road. And from the sound of your voice, it's something that you may need now. So I would say go ahead, and time is of the essence, and get it done.
Thank you. More questions, please. The floor is open. We definitely want to make sure that we're getting your questions answered today. And if any of our presenters would like to chime in, or if there's things that we did not mention yet, we welcome we welcome you making those comments as well too. So let's talk a little bit about other businesses. So we know that Bloomfield is made up of not just restaurants and shops, but we also know that there are a lot of people that are working from home, working remotely. And can we talk a little bit about that as well too? Let's say that I am a relatively new entrepreneur. Maybe I do, let's say, meditation, or maybe I do home health care, and I'm taking care of, I'm taking care of business from my own home. Can I apply as well too?
Waterfall.
Tom, Todd?
Yeah, no, you can, this is Tom. Yeah, it doesn't matter where the location of your business is, if it's home or if it's in a rented space or if it's in an owned space separate from your home. Your business is your business, and as long as you've got the supporting documents based on your revenue and based on the decrease that we talked about earlier, you can apply. And it doesn't matter where your business is. It matters the type of business, because again, this second round, they sort of streamlined the process, and that's why we're seeing a smaller volume than we did in the first round. But again, you consult SBA.gov to be sure that your business qualifies. If you're experiencing that drop in sales, that's really one of the first qualification steps. And there's absolutely no reason why you couldn't apply through the portal that your bank offers, or one of our bank, Liberty or Westfield Bank. We both have our process is very similar to what Steve talked about for Liberty, and just you go ahead and make your application. So there's no strings attached. There's nothing that you have to worry about because you're working from home. That's not even one of the questions. So you'll be fine when you go through the application.
Great.
Vera, just to add, you could be a sole proprietor. You can be an independent contractor. You could be, let's say you sell insurance and you're an independent contractor for an insurance agent or a realtor, independent contractor. You can apply and receive PPP funds because your business was affected. So as long as you have the documentation, any self-employed person can apply.
Great.
Yeah, your business entity doesn't matter how you're structured. Like Steve said, it can be a sole proprietor, partnership, S Corp, C Corp, LLC, any of the above, all of the above. It doesn't matter. Again, it goes back to qualifications and the business. I mean, it goes without saying, but the business has to be a legal business, duly authorized to conduct business in say Bloomfield or any other town for that matter. With a business certificate, or be registered with the Secretary of State if it's a corporation. So that is important, because those are reasons that at the other end, the SBA can kick out the application. Another one I've seen, I'm sure Steve as well, if ever there was a default made on either a government loan, not necessarily an SBA loan, but maybe an old student loan, or maybe some other type of loan you may have received on a different business, but it's under your social or TIN, they may pick that up, and that might be a reason to disqualify. However, there is a way that you can, through the banks, again, like Steve said, talk to your banker. We can submit justification back and maybe get that decision overruled. But so you just have to be mindful of the things that could get kicked out as the process continues. But the type of business, as long as it's a legal entity on the way in, should have no problem applying for the loan.
That's a great point to mention, that it's not so much the type, but making sure that that you're aware of all of your finances, right? So you know, and you're very comfortable talking about discussing your financial history, because a lot of times people may not be that comfortable with it. But again, if you're establishing these types of relationships with your banker, and if you haven't so far, we've got banks right here in our own community that are open and willing and desire to work with all of our small businesses. So that's, thank you very much for pointing that out, gentlemen. We do appreciate that. So I'm going to, I don't see any more questions. And we are almost at the 4 o'clock mark. So let me share my screen again to talk about some of the resources that are available to all of our businesses. So thankfully for Bloomfield, on behalf of the Bloomfield Social and Youth Services for the town of Bloomfield, they created a COVID-19 community resource guide. I hope all of you can see that. If you can, please nod your head. They created a QR code so that way if you aim your smartphone at the screen, you'll be able to gain access to that PDF. It is a very extensive, comprehensive, all-in-one guide providing you resources on general information on COVID-19, including restrictions and testing and a host of other information. So please, by all means, take advantage of that guide because it is very, very useful. And again, thank you very much to the Bloomfield Social and Youth Services Department for doing a yeoman's job in creating that document. And thank you very much to Camelia Hillian, who is the Director of Social and Youth Services, for getting this information for this program. In addition, here are some additional business resources for all of our businesses and community members to take advantage of. This list is available not only on the Bloomfield Chamber website, but it is available through the Town of Bloomfield's website. And it gives you direct access to all of these websites. And there's, again, a host of information that would be beneficial to all of our small businesses, as well as sole proprietorships and entrepreneurs. So I'd like to take this time to ask all of our presenters to just give us some final thoughts and what businesses should know as we leave this program, what should be their primary takeaway that they can have. So a nugget of information or, a golden rule that you'd like them to, leave with. And I'll start with you, Senator Macquarie.
I think I've talked enough already. Just joking. No, I'll just say, look forward. I'll get information about the town hall conversation we're going to have early March. I'll definitely be reaching out to the Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce so you can help promote it. Make sure you get on board, tell a friend, and let's get this information out to the people that need it and go after these resources. They're available. They're for you, your taxpayers, just like everyone. Let's take advantage of this opportunity. Don't let it get by. So thank you very, very much. And thanks for having me again.
Thank you. Representative Gibson.
Thanks again for having me on. It's always a pleasure to speak to the constituents, and I am so impressed with all of our banks and bankers. You guys gave a wealth of information today. Outstanding job. We have great banks here in the town of Bloomfield. And to the rest of the constituents, I would just say, as Senator Macquarie said, just go ahead and apply and search them for information. Senator Macquarie is going to have his form. Please reach out to my office. You can go on my website and you can sign up for my email blast. I'm going to definitely update something and put something together and send out to constituents about what we talked about today, as well as social media. And Mayor and Jose and Vera and everyone, Camilla, let's continue to work as a team to make sure that we get this information out. And thank you for having us. And again, bankers, great job.
Thank you. Liberty Bank. Stephen.
I want to thank all of you that participated. I want to thank the Chamber for setting this up, and Jose, the town of Bloomfield, the mayor, all the representatives that have supported. It is just awesome that we can come together. What I would say to businesses is there's a verse that says, "No man is an island." During this time, build a network, because many of the things that you're dealing with and coming against, other people are dealing with also. And they may have come up with strategies and ideas how to market, how to get and garner supplies, how to set up new delivery services. However, whatever the problems you're having in business, share your experience, talk to other people, and build a network. Remember, your banker is your friend. Your banker is there to help you. Please utilize it. I'd use this analogy. Your banker and your CPA is like your doctor. What won't you tell your doctor if you have a problem? Tell your banker, tell your CPA, let them know what you need, and let them do their job and help you. And stay positive, because we're moving through this. Things are getting better. There's light at the end of the tunnel. And if we all work together, we'll come out of this and we'll be very successful.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Tom and Todd?
Vera and everybody, I just kind of add on to what Steve said, just to kind of reinforce that, using the professionals that are that you have, your accountant, your lawyer, it's very, very important. And I will say that just like everybody last year, it was a totally new process for everybody. It was a totally new process for the bankers. It was a totally new process for the CPAs and the accountants. And so it was fraught and difficult the last time, and I think at this point in time, your accountants, your lawyers, your bankers, have a better grasp on the whole situation. And so use them as help, because they'll get you through this and they'll make it less difficult for you to get through the process. And they're the professionals, and they can get into detail. If you have a question, they can go down further and really root it out and really make sure that what you're going to be submitting and putting forth in your application and the like will be proper, it will be correct, and you won't have any problems on the back end, which might be a concern to a lot of people, that nobody wants to do something that, gets them in a tougher spot. So use the people that, can help you and support you. And then that will take that type of, bad thought out of the mix, and avail yourself of this help, because we have seen a lot of people get helped by this and get us through. And hopefully we're getting closer to getting through this. And, every little bit helps. So thank you for the Chamber for letting us be a part of this. And hopefully this was helpful to the people listening.
Thank you. Tom, any final thoughts?
Yeah, Todd pretty much said it all, but I always say when I'm dealing with my small business customers, you always want to surround yourself by three important people: your accountant, your lawyer, and your friendly banker. That's what I always suggest to my small business customers. And from our point of view at our bank, at Westfield Bank, I mean, we're new into the community. Actually, not really that new anymore. We've been there for a little bit of time now in Bloomfield, and it's an absolutely gorgeous, beautiful branch. And I encourage anyone, if you don't even want to talk business or small business, at least pop in and grab a cup of coffee and check out our new branch out there in Bloomfield. It's absolutely gorgeous and state of the art. And we do have that team of bankers on our end of it, and that third group of people that I just mentioned, available to help you right there in that Bloomfield office, and also in West Hartford as well. That's a stunning, beautiful branch as well. So come in and talk to us. You'll get the advice you need, the help you need. We're going through it too. We the customers I have are businesses I frequent personally myself, and I see the pain with the pandemic on everyone that I come in contact with, the restaurants especially. And anything we can do from a banking perspective, we'll do to help you through the process, especially if you already have a loan with us. We offer deferments, and anything we can do to help get us all through this pandemic that we're all kind of going through. So I want to thank the Chamber and everyone involved with this program, because it's absolutely necessary for everyone to hear the things we talked about. It's vital. The information is vital to all of us. So I want to thank you, especially for letting us, Westfield Bank, be part of it. We're happy to be part of the community, and we want to show that by having to visit with you whenever you have a chance to stop by and talk with us. And we'll certainly step up and do everything we can to assist you, and hopefully, like someone said earlier, get all of us through the process.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And last but never certainly least, I'd like to open up the floor to Mayor Tabitha Brown to give us her final and closing remarks. And again, thank you so much to everyone that participated today, particularly from the town of Bloomfield, the Economic Recovery Committee. And again, this was a joint effort and we could not have done any of this without them. So Mayor Suzette.
Thank you so much. Such good information. I'd like to thank Senator Macquarie and State Rep Gibson for being here. Thank you to Liberty and Westfield Bank for being here. Thank you to our recovery coordinators, Vera Smith and Michelle Benoni and Camilla and Denise and Jose. I think it's so important to be able to provide information for our community, our businesses and our families. Now we're almost a year into what we thought would have lasted only months. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a freight train, and that's the great thing. Being able to help us recover, whether it's families in need of services or businesses in need of financing and services. I am glad that the town have a committee together that can provide that information, and that we have a wealth of resources. We have our state senator and our state representative who is going to be fighting for us and who's going to be fighting for those financial resources to come into our towns that we can provide assistance to our residents and our business owners. So I'm grateful for that. I'm also grateful that we have banks that are open to small businesses. If they don't yet have a relationship, they're open to form a relationship to help you to be able to be successful. And that's what we want to be able to do. Come out of this and truly recover. And when you recover something, you're getting back what was taken from you. And we're hoping that our families and our businesses will recover, because once they recover, the town itself will recover and prosper. And that's our only desire. So I'm grateful for all of those who took the time to attend today. I know that this is being recorded so that we will put it on our Facebook, we'll put it on YouTube. But please, if you have a need, please contact the town of Bloomfield. Please contact Social and Youth Services. Please contact our Chamber of Commerce. Contact our state senator and our state representative. Yes, I did put them out there because we're all here to serve you. Once again, you succeed, we all succeed. So once again, thank you for your time, and thank you for the wonderful information, the needful information about this PPP loan. As state senator and state rep said, get your applications in. Don't wait until the 31st. I think sometimes it's who gets in line first. Make sure that you're in line. And if you need any kind of assistance at all, filling out paperwork, once again, please call the town, please call the chamber, please call the banks, and you will be helped. That's our desire here, and that's our purpose. So thank you for your time, energy, information, and effort on behalf of the town council and the entire town of Bloomfield.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great
Thank you.
afternoon and a great weekend.
Thank
Be
you.
safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Likewise.